Hi, I'm Fran with Stampendous, and I have some more Frantage embossing powders for you. And what started out with the encrusted jewel technique, if you remember, it was an accident initially that all my powders got mixed up. But now it's intentional, and I keep coming up with new mixes. And we've kind of done a transition from having the 5-jar kits, which gave you a nice variety. Now we're doing spoonful mixes, and I think these are even easier to work with. And by having it all mixed and you can work out of your little tray, it works very fun. So the ones that we have that are new, we have a wonderful rust. So I was out walking and I picked up this rusty piece of metal and then I copied it to try to get this look that really gives you a nice textured, weathered look, and you can do it immediately. Heat it, you're ready to go. So I've used it here on this card. And this is a new little character, a little robot named Screw Loose. You can see the little screw is kind of popping out of his head. And his little sidekick over here is Sparky, his dog Sparky. And so the rust works really fun on this one. And also with the steampunk bird, which is another favorite of mine. And so the rust comes together really nice for these looks. Besides the rust, we also have a spoonful of gold dust. So there's rust, gold dust, pixie dust up here, and confetti. So I'll show you how all of these come together and can be used for a lot of fun projects that are going to help give you a Stampendous impression every time. I'm very excited to be adding some new spoonful mixes. As you might be familiar, we've had our encrusted jewel kits, like this silver one, where you have 5 jars, and the label on the side will tell you that the first 2 are embossing powders, and then you have 3 other things. And so when they come in the jars this way, you have a lot of mix and match options, and you can selectively use one or another, and you can achieve a beautiful embossed look, like the cards that you're seeing here. Then we introduced the spoonful mixes, and this way you actually have a little tray to work out of, and the elements are mixed together. So we've added to that line a wonderful gold dust, that's this one, and rust. So you have instant rust. So in this mode, when you open it up, and let me show you from both sides here with the rust. When you open it up, and what I recommend is that you take your craft knife and simply cut through the sticker that seals it shut. Cut it on both sides. And then when you open it up, you're going to see this helpful little paper inside. This explains the encrusted jewel technique, which basically is just that you sprinkle your mix on the paper. There's no ink required, and if you heat from underneath, gravity just pulls it down into the paper and it melts. So this little card is in there, and as well we suggest that you take this little flap, and using your scissors, you're just going to cut apart the lid. This allows you to have the lid out of your way when you're working out of the tray, but then later you can pop it back on for storage. It's not airtight, but in your studio it will work just fine. So now I've got the rust, and in the bag you can see all of the pretty different elements in it. And as soon as you dump it into your little tray, it's going to mix itself up. And look at this. This is our rust. It looks so fun. I was out walking and I picked up this rusty metal piece, and I used that to come up with my unique rust mix here. So now you have a whole spoonful of rust at your fingertips anytime you want it. So as you can see here, I've put it over different colors of paper, And when it's melted, it gives us a beautiful instant rust effect. Here you can see some of my coffee spritzed paper is a wonderful backdrop. And I've taken one of our new stamp characters. This is Screw Loose and his dog Sparky. They get into lots of trouble, and we figured we'd do some rusty applications here on this card. So I've stamped already, and I've actually even done a really fun thing here. If you can see the shiny metal look on their little screw eyes, I've used my Versamarker, and the tip of it allowed me to color in just some little sections, and then I used the aged silver, and I've melted that already. I'm going to use my clip tool to hang on to it so that I don't get my fingers too hot, and I'm simply going to take a spoonful of rust, sprinkle it on. If you don't want it on their little faces, you can take a dry brush and move some of it away. When you like the look of it, you're ready to heat it. And of course, we have to heat from underneath. Do a quick little shake test. And if you've heated enough, there you'll have it, instant rust. So you can try a lot of very fun things with that whole rust look. These two spoonful mixes are a very different look. We have a wonderful pixie dust, which you can see here over white or pink paper, and we have a spoonful of confetti. And this one is really fun to emboss as well over either white or dark papers. If you want to take your creative palette and with some of the neon colors create some beautiful pastel color backgrounds, it's very nice to stamp and then die cut all of your beautiful little butterflies in all of these pretty colors. Let's take one of these butterflies and cover the entire surface here with Versamark ink. It's just a clear, slow drying ink. I definitely need my little clip tool to hang on to this. And now, holding it over my handy little spoonful tray here, I'm going to cover the entire surface with my spoonful of confetti mix. Dust it off. And as you can see, when I dusted off, most of the little fragments came away. The lighter elements are going to stick first, but now I'm going to add some more back in. And without sneezing or anything, we're now going to heat this from underneath. The spoonful of confetti gives you a sparkly, translucent color with all the little fragments embedded into it. Another way to use either your pixie dust or your confetti is simply to sprinkle it onto the paper. And in fact, let's do some here with the pixie dust. So now we have the pixie dust, which has some lovely pink tint to it. And I've taken a journal page where I've got a combination of stamped images, embossed elements, and I've done some of the spoonful of confetti up here, and these areas are pixie dust. So let's give that a try and add some more over here. do a shake test. There we go. So the spoonful mixes of pixie dust and confetti will give you lots of subtle little bits of color and shine and texture to your page. I also want to show you with this card. In this one, we used glue to put little dots of glue wherever we wanted some of the fragments. And we are now also offering the party fragments, as we call them, already pre-mixed. And in this one, there's no embossing powder when you purchase it just like this as the party fragments. So in this case, it'll be a glue down option, and you can enjoy all of the pretty colors. And let's sprinkle some more on here. You'll see the whole range of colors. So anyway, this gives you an idea of your options. When you buy it as a spoonful, you can see that it says embossing powder and elements, whereas if it comes like this, it's just the fragments by itself, and then you'll want to use it over an adhesive or a glue option. All of these butterflies were die cut as well, and I'll show you how we achieved this wonderful combination of texture and embossing powder and everything over adhesive. So in this case, you can take a cardstock and apply some of your double-sided adhesive, and then you can die cut these shapes all at once, running it through your die cutting machine, and then you'll have this surface to it. I decided I want to use the gold dust. You could use your Luxe Mix and embossing powder separately, or as you can see, the ease of having the little tray to work with means you've got it all mixed already. And I'm going to intentionally grab a bunch of the large mica flakes first and apply them to the outer edges here. So here you can see my embossed butterfly and all of the combinations of different ways that you can maybe use your Luxe Mix, first just on the edges and then embossing powder everywhere in between, and to create the contrast of the edges and any combination of glitters and embossing powders. So here we've given you lots more ways where you can make a Stampendous impression every time.